need game audio. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, that's a little important.
Yeah. There we go. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You want?
Oh, apologies from Kevin. He was in an interview. No, I want the amiibo. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm doing right now before the run starts is I'm tying my amiibo to the quest log 1. It's going to be used for save warps in the run. Basically, every time I do a save warp, I'm going to use the amiibo, and it's just going to jump straight into the first quest log.
All right, here we go.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Fino. And behind me, I have Gymnast and Hornlets. And this is Twilight Princess HD. Yeah, this is quite a long run, so hopefully we will be able to give you some informative commentary. So, far and away, the most asked question I get when I run this game and stream it is, what's the difference? What did they change? And if you're familiar with the SD speedrun at all, you'll know I'm already doing something different. So there are a few patch glitches, gate clip, back in time, early Master Sword, map glitch, all fixed in this. So it changes the route, makes the run a little bit longer than the original version, but it's not too bad. You get to see some new interesting glitches, HD exclusive glitches as well. So there's that.
Yeah, there are also some mechanical changes as well. For one, Epona's way harder to control for some reason.
Yeah.
Opponent controls are bad in this game.
Yeah. So in the original version, when you're dashing, you have full control over the analog stick. But in this version, for whatever reason, they changed the just cardinal directions. So things like this happen as well.
Yeah, so right now, we ran through some grass to collect some rupees because we need to buy the slingshot in a few minutes. And so thankfully in this game, you can skip cutscenes, which allows you to get to the gameplay right away and is very nice. Otherwise, this run would be probably like a few hours longer or so.
We have this riveting gameplay right now.
Yeah, goats are arguably the most challenging part of the run.
Yeah, pretty
There we
often
go,
you'll
okay.
get those, we call them troll goats, where they'll go towards the entrance and then they'll just kind of walk right past it and just wastes a lot of time.
And yeah, so we get to do goats twice in this run, so that was only the first time.
Yeah. And since gate clip was patched, I actually have to do the first 2 days of Ordon. Both those are skipped in the original version. In fact, like the first 20 minutes of this run is completely glitchless.
It is possible to skip the first 2 days in this game, but there's an item that we need to get in those first 2 days to progress later on.
And if you hear me just kind of like grinding on the controller, basically the ZR in this game is like multi-use. So unless I'm on Epona, it also functions as another like A button. So when I'm going through text, I'll just sit there and just try to grind it, hitting A and ZR every other frame to get the text to go through as fast as possible.
So one other change from the original that you might note here is that the climbing was actually sped up a lot in the HD version, which is a very nice change. In the SD version, it was very slow. Definitely one of the worst parts of the game.
Also, that blue rupee was not there in the original version either.
Yeah, that was added as well.
And that gate that in the background, as you can see there, actually isn't there in the original either.
And so, like most Wii U games, this game does have gyro controls, unlike the original game.
And that's also the reason why I'm using the Wii U gamepad in place of a Pro controller, so I can use the gyro controls. They're much quicker for aiming.
Yeah, and when you get items, we can equip them without needing to pause. We can just swipe them on the control stick to whichever button we want.
I thought it was because so we could worry about the controller running out of battery for the entire time.
Yeah. Thankfully, I have mine plugged in, so that shouldn't be an issue. So this was the item Gymnast just mentioned that I needed. I had to fish out the reef fish later to get a scent to climb Snow Peak since Smash Crush was fixed. And so we'll be using that way later in the run.
So
There's some hidden rupees back here. I'm going to get them. I still need 30 for the fishing rod.
yeah, another nice
Or the
change
slingshot, rather.
from the original is that you only ever see rupee texts for each individual rupee once in this title. In the original game, every time you decided to save your play session and come back later, it would always tell you again how much amount each rupee was, which was a little annoying. So this is fishing. It's a little bit of RNG depending on how long it takes the fish to come to the pole. That was pretty average RNG. And then fishing, you just hold the fishing rod. There isn't really much to it.
This is another change right here. So you actually have to fish twice in the original version. One to get the cat's attention, and then a second time to actually trigger this cutscene. I guess they realized that was kind of silly, so they removed it the first time. Also, yes, we can't skip this cutscene. It's very important. We have to watch it.
Yeah, so now we have 30 rupees, which is enough to buy the slingshot. And it's like pretty much the first weapon you get in the game. We also get a free bottle with milk, which actually is important for the run later on.
There we go. Go ahead and equip that.
Now we're gonna go back home.
We have an early $25 donation from Stairmaster just saying, good luck, Fino.
Thank you. So I'm going to get the wooden sword as well. Also another item that's technically possible to skip, but it's not faster to do so. Just because killing some of the enemies when I free towers takes too long with the slingshot.
Yeah, so this is one of 3 swords we get in the game. It's definitely the weakest by a lot. It's going to be replaced pretty shortly with a much more powerful sword, though.
And I need to do the slingshot and sword tutorials here to trigger the tallow saving sequence.
And so here we can see why Gyro is so good. You can aim really fast and really precisely. So this is just your basic Zelda sword training tutorial where they tell you pretty much just all the different sword combinations you can do. Of course, in this case, we're being taught by kids who are younger than us that somehow know this.
Wow. So if you probably noticed, I'm running this on the English version of the game. And if you're familiar with Zelda speedruns, typically the Japanese version is the fastest, which actually is the case in this game. But because the text advances so quickly, the difference is negligible between the versions. It's like less than 5 seconds or something like that. So I just run it on English because that's the version I have.
Yeah, so normally you don't want to use all 6 of Epona's spurs at once. You want to use 5 and then wait for them to refill. But due to the length of that area, you just use all 6.
And then I want to use all 6 here because I need to slow down, or else I'll hop over Koro when I try to talk to him here. Equip it. That's another big benefit of this version over the SD version is when I have downtime, like when I need to turn around with Epona, I can just look down and equip items that I need, versus SD where you have to actually pull open the item wheel and waste time equipping it then. Allows for a lot of interesting equip optimizations.
So one thing that is present in this Zelda game and in a bunch of other Zelda games that use a similar engine is a serious difference in roll speeds whenever you're rolling on geometry that slopes up versus geometry that's either flat or slopes downwards. When Link rolls or simply just travels up sloped geometry, his speed is actually hindered quite a bit. It's sort of noticeable in an RTA run, but not really that much. But it is possible to chain rolls for pretty high speeds going up slopes that can actually save a lot of time if you get them framed perfectly. And that also creates for some interesting optimizations in some areas, trying to avoid sloped geometry as much as possible, which we like to call invisible hills.
Yeah, Gymnast and I have both done passes of the original version of this game, and so we know a lot about just interesting things like sloped geometry or invisible hills, or things like brake sliding.
Yeah, so whenever like an enemy's not required to be, you obviously just run past it. No need to take the time to try to beat it.
So I jump slash into that cutscene just saves a little bit of time, puts me a little bit further forward.
So 4 hits on each of those guys, and then jump slash quick spin to break the cage.
Yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of jump slash quick spin in this run. It's a very good way to deal a lot of damage very quickly.
Yeah, if you spin the control stick while you do a jump slash, you'll actually automatically transition into a quick spin when Link hits the ground. It's very nice. You can also do the same thing out of a backflip, but that's only used once in the run, I believe. So now we get to herd goats a second time, and this time there are 20 of them instead of 10.
Yeah, this one actually has the timer on screen.
Yeah, goats in general are just extremely finicky. There's pretty much no consistent way to do them, even though they technically are consistent.
Yeah, each goat kind of has a bit of a sort of a radius around them in which when you get near them, they'll run away from you, but the size of that radius is actually a little bit random. So sometimes it'll just be really small and you have to get like right up next to them. And so just that randomness also makes it really hard to consistently get a good time.
Yeah, generally, like a really good time to shoot for would be like under 20 seconds.
And what just happened there happens all the time, where 19 out of 20 goats goes in and then one just runs off on its own and wastes 10 seconds.
Shiny Alice gives us $25 to say Legend of Zelda hype. Good luck, Fino.
Thank you.
And so now, like any responsible adult, we're going to give the little children our weapon.
You can go ahead with the donations. We have it's quite a bit of downtime right here.
Okay, we have $25 from Anonymous saying, Twilight Princess is one of my all-time favorite Zelda games. Good luck to Fino on the run.
Thank you.
$25 from Augie saying, what a crazy amount of Zelda swag. I'd travel through time or cross the ocean for any of them. Here's a small bag of rupees to help fund great fairies all over our world. Seth S. gives $50 and says, amazing marathon for an amazing cause. I'm currently playing through Twilight Princess HD, but much slower, of course. Keep up the great work. Dr. Ozymandias gives $25 and says, I can't wait to see this awesome Zelda run, as well as the Zelda block later. Keep up the good work, guys.
Will he get the box breaker?
Got it.
Oh,
Nice.
yes, nice. That saves 3 frames, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, save the frames. Yeah, clap for that. Clap. Clap, clap.
Yeah, it's just one of those little things that you can go for. It doesn't really matter if you get it or not, but it's worth swag points, so you always have to go for it.
Oh yeah, it matters.
Anyway, these are the sewers. This is sort of like the Wolf Link tutorial section.
I'm gonna be doing a lot of just like little optimizations, dash canceling, which I'll show here in a second, and things like jumping straight to the chain from the ground instead of climbing up.
Yeah, in general, the targeting system in this game, or at least jump attacking in this game, is kind of broken. We'll be seeing a lot of later. And so like Trino just mentioned, this game has a kind of small technique called dash canceling, where if you do a dash, but then either interrupt it with a B attack or jump off a ledge within, I think it's 9 or 10 frames of initiating the dash, then you won't have to wait for the cooldown timer to begin another dash. You can just do the next one when you have the opportunity. Because usually you have to wait 59 frames between each dash you can do.
Try to get a little text skip here. We'll see if we get it. Hey, there we go.
Nice.
Nice.
So Minna actually, when you drop those rocks, it turns on Minna warping, or Minna jumping here. And when you hit the ground, it actually, she talks to you for a brief second. But you can make the rocks fall and then just jump around the trigger. And then I'm doing another trick called first frame Minna jumping here. So basically anytime I call Minna up to jump to her, if she talks to me right before I do the jump, there's a single frame where I can actually jump straight to where she's going to be instead of having to wait. There'll be another one right here. It is a frame perfect trick, but because this game has something called input buffering, 99% of the time I get it.
Yeah, input buffering is really helpful for a lot of like little text skips in this game, like this one right here, where you have one frame of input before like Midna or someone else talks to you. But because of the input buffering technique, we can get those pretty much 100% consistently. And what input buffering is pretty much like coming out of cutscenes or out of loading zones, the game, like if you hold the A button, the game will give you like a first frame dash or a first frame roll. Even though you didn't press the A button down on that first frame, it still sort of counts it as being pressed down. So if you just hold it, you'll always get those first frame jumps.
So let's get it.
Alright, nice Carter Rocks.
Okay, so we saw Zelda, and now we're going to go back and get the Ordon Sword and Ordon Shield. If you're familiar with SD speedruns, you probably know there's a trick you can do here called Sword and Shield Skip. Unfortunately, I can't do it, or fortunately, rather, because it's an awful trick. But I can't do it because I need the Ordon Sword. Otherwise, when I clear Fire on Twilight, I won't have a weapon.
Yeah, so if you clear Fair and Twilight without a weapon, you'll have to somehow get all the way to the Master Sword without a weapon, which isn't really possible because you need to defeat some enemies that require a sword.
Here's our squirrel buddy.
So in this area, we have so much speed that we just make it into the loading zone, even though we talk to the squirrel. It's actually interesting. As Wolflink, you have 2 different base speeds depending on the area you're in, which are either 33 or 45. Usually you'll have the higher speed of 45 in large areas like fields or provinces, and you'll have 33 in smaller areas like dungeons or just generally smaller areas. For some reason in Ordon, though, you have the base 45 speed, which is why it looks like you're moving really fast. Skipping the platform.
Yeah, the trigger to make that cutscene right there start is gigantic, so as long as I get even just relatively close to him, it triggers it. Okay, hopefully I get this first try. Okay, good. That ledge is really finicky. It's not supposed to be, I don't think, but it's like that in the original game too. It's just sometimes when you jump up to the ledge, it'll just drop you immediately. You have to try again.
Didn't you say you like once clipped out of bounds through
Yeah,
that?
yeah. It's good programming.
And so also in Orden, at least when running to Russell's house over here, there are a lot of little animals that you want to avoid talking to.
Bat chicken. Or Kuko.
Yeah, so the game forces us to get the shield before we can get the sword. If we could just get the sword first right away, then we would be able to skip the shield. So we need the sword.
Okay, so a little bit of RNG here. I want the Kuko to not be really close to the hole, which it looks like he's not. And I also want Russell to not be close to the house, which he's not. Good. So I got really good stuff there.
Yeah, if you get too close to Russell, he like looks at you and draws his sword, which causes a small cutscene. Obviously, we want to avoid. So now we're coming on our first Shadow Beast fight. It's just a single Shadow Beast. It's sort of like your introduction to them.
And he's dead.
Hard enemy. Yeah, so in case you didn't know, you can also do a technique known as just quick spinning in this game, where if you rotate the joystick and press B, you'll just do a spin attack really fast. You can also do the same thing by holding the B button, which I'm pretty sure everybody already knows. But quick spinning is obviously faster than having to hold the B button for like 2 seconds.
Okay, we're coming up on our first Twilight here. Yeah, the Twilights were actually changed quite a bit in this version. So in the original, you have 15 tiers per Twilight. And when you kill the bugs, you actually have to wait for the tiers to form completely before you can pick them up. In this version, there's 12 per Twilight, and they actually move some of them around. And once the bug dies, the tier, you can pick it up immediately. So it's really great for speedrunning. It speeds all 3 of them up by a ton. But first we need to do this Shadow Beast fight. Got to get mid to charge.
Yeah, so this fight has a scripted loss. No matter how you try to beat the Shadow Beasts, one will always survive and call the others back up. So now with the midnight charge, as long as you just get the last 2 Shadow Beasts at the same time, you'll win the fight. You just don't want to leave one hanging, because then it'll call the others back to life.
That was a good match.
Yes, now we got Fair and Twilight Vessel.
Okay. So this first Twilight's pretty short, because most of the tiers are the kind of contained area. So you can see there I'm picking them up immediately. I didn't have to wait for them to form or anything. In the original version, there's a tier on the back of that house that is now gone. There's still 2 here in Koro's house. Another first frame ninja jump. So I'm going to talk to Koro, and that'll make the bugs come out. And what I'm going to try to do here is kill the bugs, and then turn off senses. And what that does is there's a scripted cutscene that plays after you kill the bugs. But if senses aren't on, it actually won't play, and so it's just a tiny bit of time. Oops. Okay, I guess we're going down.
Yeah, so like Wolf Link, if you try to dash into sloped geometry, you can sometimes bonk. It'll send you backwards.
Here's another one they removed. There's usually 2 here. There's only 1 in this version. But he's still a pain in the butt. Yep. He was nice today. Yeah, the AI on the bugs is like really crazy. Sometimes they'll just do things you're not expecting and run in random directions. It's really frustrating for the speedrun.
So as Wolf Link, this tunnel has a shortcut. It's a few seconds faster than just dashing through.
So there's a log cycle in this area I'm going to try to make. Basically, as soon as I load the area, there's a log swinging back and forth that I want to beat to a certain cycle. But the movement in the area has to be basically perfect. I don't think I'm on pace right now, though. We'll see. It's gonna be close.
I think you got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so hitting that cycle saves a few seconds, so we're just having to watch the log swing back again.
Yeah, those two behaved. Sometimes they like to spread out, and they're a pain in the butt to get when they do that. So this is the North Pharaon area, which in the original version is where you would do the early Master Sword glitch. Unfortunately, it does not work in this version of the game. They're a little... Okay. I wanted to get them closer, just in case. They actually double patched this, so how you do it in the original game is you do a midnight charge against one of the Shadow Beasts up against a wall, and when he does a certain type of swing, you get a really high jump and it'll shoot you out of bounds. In this version, he actually doesn't do that type of swing at all. They just totally removed it. None of the Shadow Beasts do it. And there's also invisible collision all along the out-of-bounds area up there. So even if you could do it, you can't actually get out there. It's very sad. If we could, it would shorten the speedrun by, I think, 20 minutes.
Yeah, so a few short minutes later, we're done with Fair and Twilight.
There's a cutscene skip. Minda talks to you right there, but using input buffering, I can just backflip out of the trigger before she has a chance to see me, and then I can just roll around it.
We have a $70 donation from JT Run just saying Zelda hype.
So I actually, I actually tried to buy the lantern from him because it gives me less text boxes. Other than saying no, I think he gives you 3 if he says it, but if you say buy, he's like, what? You don't have enough money.
I have a feeling this might be the first one in the long line of puns, but we have $20 from a beaver in a bee suit saying, I've been working like a dog all week, and now it's time to chill out and relax watching Twilight Princess.
Good decision.
It's time for a very exciting section of the game.
So this monkey's going to try to lead us across the poison fog area. We can actually push her during it to like shorten the amount of time she has to walk between each checkpoint. But we don't want to push her too far because then she'll turn around to hit a checkpoint that's behind her and then go forward again. We're also slashing the grass here to see if we can get any rupees, because we do need a fair amount of rupees in this run.
My goal here is 10. I want to have 10 after I finish Linear Twilight so I can take Fierce Cannon. There's a lot of just free rupees here. I'm gonna try to. Well, I was trying to kill the keys before the monkey saw it. Yeah, if the monkey gets scared, she'll stop and restart her swinging cycle. Also, each time she goes up to the mist to swing, she basically will either swing it 8 times or 16 times. Oh, come on. And it's complete RNG which one she does, so you can actually lose quite a bit of time here just to bad luck, which is unfortunate. But for the most part, this has been good so far. I haven't been counting or anything. It seems pretty quick. One more rupee here.
Yeah, as for enemies, there's just 2 keys and then this one Deku Baba, but we can shoot the Deku Baba from far away since, unlike the keys, the Deku Baba just stays where it is, can't move.
Maybe I got it. Probably not. Nope.
Yeah.
I was trying to push the monkey up the hill there to skip that last swing, but it's really hard to push the monkey. She's very picky.
Yeah, so now we got our lantern back, but unfortunately it's out of oil. So we're gonna go steal some more.
So I need to get the oil from the shop here, but I actually can't get it until the enemies here are dead. So what I do is I slash him, and it aggroes his buddy over here. I think just so it saves a little bit of time, he runs towards me, and then I can come up here and just definitely buy this oil. Definitely did not just steal the oil.
Alright, so this is the first and only Golden Wolf that we get in this run. Every time you meet a Golden Wolf, you get taught a new hero ability, or a new hidden skill by the hero's shade. And this is the only required ability for the run, which is the final blow. The only place this is required is the final blow on the final boss. If you don't get this, you can make it all the way to the final boss, but then you can't deal the final blow, which kind of sucks.
And since I can't do EMS, it's actually not possible to run around the wolf, but in the original version you can run around the wolf and just dodges it completely. And it's actually advantageous to do so because in the original version we route the wolf later to a better time. And there's a runner whose name is Venik who actually forgot to get the wolf one time and was on PB pace and got all the way to the very final boss and could not kill him because he forgot the hidden skill.
Yeah, it's a very sad realization when that happens in a run, because I've had that happen also.
For you there. Shout out to Venik, by the way. Very cool runner.
We have a $50 donation from GC Kid 333 saying, looking forward to all those Twilight Princess HD exclusive glitches.
Okay, here's the first dungeon. And it also contains the most broken item in the game, thankfully. But I have to free some monkeys first before we can get it. He's going to get in my way, so I'm going to slash him and then do that, and that's going to kill him. It's actually possible to climb up between these spiders without killing them, but it's like a 1 in 100 chance that they actually won't attack you, so I'm just going to shoot them with a slingshot. We get to see that fast climbing in action.
Yeah, so we have to kill this spider right here, otherwise the monkey's gonna stay scared by it, and then we won't be able to use the monkey to swing across some ropes.
That backflip saves 1 frame.
Okay, so now we're gonna head off to save a second monkey, not because we need the second monkey, but because we...
No, we do need the second monkey.
No, yeah, we do need the second
Yeah,
monkey.
we don't need the 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to use the second monkey after I free him to get to the guild boomerang early.
Yeah, because only the second monkey will allow us to go to the other side of the dungeon.
I think there's 9 monkeys in total. Somebody's going to correct me on that one. I think it's probably 7.
I think it's 7.
Yeah. But we're only going to get 2 of them, because once I have the guild boomerang, we are unstoppable, and we're going to jump straight to the boss.
Quite literally.
Quite literally, yes.
Yeah, so that was our first small key. We need... Small keys are just like a staple of Zelda dungeons. Help you unlock doors.
Right back there, you didn't actually need to knock down that Skulltula. You can just jump slash right next to him.
I'm going to free our monkey buddy here.
face some very tough enemies.
These Bokoblins actually have a high chance at dropping a blue rupee. Unfortunately, it didn't happen there. I'm going to need 300 rupees later to fix the cannon to get the city in the sky, so any extra money just is free money.
I think we all need free money. Because what you should do with that free money is donate, like Brandy Lynn giving $21 and saying, "Been waiting months for this run. Twilight Princess is my favorite. Good luck, Fino."
Thank you.
Yeah, so one other like small mechanical property of Twilight Princess is that if you're in the air and you're holding the A button, when you hit the ground, you'll automatically do a first frame roll, which is very nice.
So I'm not going to swing across there. It's actually slower to do so. I just roll around. Here I have to swing across. I pulled out the lantern when I jumped there just to save me 2 frames because I got to swing it here in a minute. And when the item isn't in your hand, it takes like 2 or 3 frames extra to pull it out. Same for when I actually have it in my hand and I need to open a door or something. It takes 2 or 3 frames extra to put it away to actually open the door. So generally, if I need to open a door, I'll try to put the item I have in my hand away before I get to the door.
Yeah, so this path right here is supposed to be sort of like the back path after you already get the Gale Boomerang to get back to saving more monkeys. But it's kind of easily exploitable. Just walk into the bridge.
By pulling out Midna right away here, it actually triggers the bridges to turn right away rather than having to wait for the big, long, like, timer to pass.
Yeah, so that first one we had to jump into. The second one we can just do a side hop for to get between the bridges. Can't do that on the first one because there's actually an invisible wall present while the bridges are turning. It's not present when they're stationary, but they put that in there because I guess they figured out that you could side hop or like simply just jump between the bridges.
Okay, here is Ook. How many times he hops is random. Okay, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, so you're forced to do this fight in 2 cycles. Not really much you can do about that.
Come on. Oh, I missed out. Nice. Oh, come on. I'm being punished.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is one of the longer unskippable cutscenes in the game. It's like more than 40 seconds long.
Good time for donations.
Absolutely.
All right, Sabertail, I'm going to do my best for you. For giving $100, we have Wolf Link is best Link. Oh. We have $150 from NimNim248 saying, "Thanks to all the staff, runners, and donators. You all rock. Shout out to Wendy the Human and Josie the Cat." $25 from Sarah195 saying, "Twilight Princess is one of my favorite games. Super stoked to see you guys play it. Keep up the good work."
Alright, so we got the most broken item in the game. Allows us to do very fast things. So right here we're gonna do our first save warp, and then Fino's gonna be using the Wolf Link amiibo actually to load up a save file after quitting playing this one. Because using the Wolf Link amiibo to automatically load file 1 is around 3 seconds faster than going through the menus to load it.
And again, I just save warp here just because it's a little bit faster to get back to the center room this way.
Yeah, getting out of the Gale Boomerang room with the Gale Boomerang is actually really slow.
And so at this point, casually, you're about halfway done with the dungeon, maybe more like 40% done. But we're going to go straight to the boss. I'm just going to grab the boss key here, and then we're going to do some magic with the Gale Boomerang. A little bit of a shortcut here. There we go. And then I can actually skip targeting that first one because it'll hit it on the way over.
Yeah, So unfortunately, boss key skips aren't really a thing in this game. There's only one dungeon you can do a boss key skip in because in this game, boss loading zones are actually tied to the boss doors themselves actually being open. So even if you get behind the door, it doesn't load the boss, unfortunately.
$50 from Ansith saying, great job to everyone involved with the marathon so far, and good luck to Fino.
Thank you.
All right, so yeah, right here on either side of this bridge, there's rooms which lead to monkeys. We don't really care about them. So you'll notice that we called the Gale Boomerang the most broken item in the game, and that's because of a glitch that we can do with it called the long jump attack, which Fino just did back there, although that one only saves like a second. There's going to be some pretty big ones up here, which is how we skip the rest of the dungeon. So pretty much throwing out the Gale Boomerang and then using the Gale Boomerang as an object that Link can target will allow you to jump to wherever it is. And it caps your speed at around 3 times that of a regular jump attack, so you can go 3 times as far. There are some like technical things you need to do with it, though. The Gale Boomerang either needs to be over a void or over a surface that's higher than Link's feet to actually get a long jump attack. Otherwise, you'll just get like a really slow one.
And so I'm going to try to do something here called the Ookless. It's very, very difficult, very easy to screw up. But if I do it right, it's going to let me... Oh, that was weird. It's going to let me skip waiting on Ook in the second phase.
Yeah, so we brought over 2 bomblings. We're going to try to use both those bomblings to hit the main Diababa plant in the second phase of this fight. It is a really finicky strat, though, so hopefully Fino will be able to get it.
Basically, the bomb timers don't run in cutscenes, and throwing in the Gale Boomerang resets them, so I'm just going to kind of try to juggle them during the second fight to keep resetting the timers before they explode. That's good. And it's going to come back to me with the first one. I'm going to throw it again, reset the timer, and then before it comes back, I'm going to try to kill him right there, get him back up, and then while he's coming back up, do it one more time, and there we go.
All right, very nice.
And that saves around 40 seconds.
Yeah, so we have time for like a donation right now.
All right, I have a good one. I hope this was real, Jai-Fi. We have $25 saying, Shelby, I've looked through many a castle to find my Princess Peach. Now that I find you, my castle is complete. Will you marry me?
Say yes.
I hope you have another donation letting us know what she said.
Yeah, so this is the first of 3 fused shadows that are in the game. We're only going to get the first and third ones, though. We're not going to be getting the second one.
$150 from Dr. Void saying, been watching for a couple years and I've been very excited to see one of my very first Zelda games ruined. Good luck, have fun, Fino.
Thank you.
So yeah, we grab that heart container. It does technically waste time to grab it, but we do it so that we don't die in the second to last dungeon just in case things go wrong.
And it's just general marathon safety. In case